Hey guys, it's Super Adam, and would you guys believe that right now on YouTube there's only like 5 videos going over the best training spots here in BO4 Zombies? That is way too low. So today, I'm going to go ahead and change that and go over 10 of the best high round strats here in BO4, and yes, it does include both solo and co-op strats. So on our last video that had the sound quiz, I finally thought I had the one sound that would trick all of you. But no, almost all of you got it right. It was the Death of Orion, like, idling sound, and I was so shocked when almost all of you got it right. So hopefully today is the day that I hopefully at least trick some of you guys. We'll see. So either that one is like super easy or super hard. I'm kind of trying to like trick you guys now instead of just going for like a really hard sound. So we'll have to see how many of you get the one right in the comments below. Besides that, let's go ahead and jump into our number 10 spot. In the 10th spot, we have our first strategy here on Voyage of Despair, and Voyage does not have a lot of great strats. This here is definitely my go-to co-op strat. This strat is on the poop deck. It's not like where the Pack-a-Punch is or the KN is. It's actually down the stairs and right by where the buildable bench is. You kind of want to run like outside and then, you know, inside underneath the poop deck and then back outside. It's the best strat when somebody else is up top. The only thing that sucks about the strategy is the Stokers. The Stokers spawn in like right down there, and it can be kind of annoying, especially like round 20 or 30 plus, because at that point you just have so many of these guys spawning in per round, and pretty much you have to deal with all of them down there. So that can be the only thing, but besides that, it's a great strat. In the 9th spot, we have the Ra/Danu Temple training spot, and this spot is definitely only for co-op because, of course, if you're playing IX on solo, you're probably going to train in the middle of the map, which is an amazing spot. But if you're playing co-op on IX, it can be sometimes tough to find a good spot for each player, and this is definitely one of those great spots. So for this strategy, all you do is start at either the Ra or the Danu Temple. Let's, for example, say we were starting at the Ra Temple. We get a nice horde going, we cross the bridge where the blade trap is, and then all the zombies will be in a nice straight line, kill all those zombies, and then at the Danu Temple, go ahead and get another horde going, and then go back, and just keep doing that back and forth, and it's a super easy, effective spot for co-op. In the number 8 spot, we have the Blood of the Dead Docks, and this is definitely a co-op strat. It can be done solo, but with solo, when you have dogs spawning in, and then Brutus spawns, it can be kind of tough. So if you're playing co-op and all the other spots are taken, this is definitely a great spot to train at. Some tips for the strategy, there's really only one major one. I would say use the Path of Sorrows, because the majority of the zombies that spawn in and near you are going to be in the power room, and from the power room to the like M19 wall buy, it's just this long straight lane, and all the zombies spawn there, so it's so easy to just wipe them out, and then when they respawn again, you have just this nice beautiful lane of zombies. Also, you do have the table there, so craft the shield there, and you'll always have that shield filled up, and you'll also have that M19 wall buy, so it's definitely a good spot for co-op. In the number 7 spot, we have the IX Pack-a-Punch strategy. Now, it's not actually inside the pap room, it's actually around the pap room. So obviously around the pap room you have just this big circle, and of course that's where you can go up to all the temples. But if you just train around the pap room in that circle, it's a really good spot for both co-op and solo. The thing with the strategy that I love the most is you have so many wall guns to buy as you're running around. You have the GKS, the KN, the Mozu, and I'm pretty sure there's the MX9. I'm not sure. There's a bunch of wall guns in this circle, so you always have ammo if you need it. And then on top of that, you're always running by the shield. So if you ever need shield ammo or just shield in general, it's right there. In the number 6 spot, we have the Blood of the Dead Cafeteria. And this spot definitely isn't as good as it was back in Mob of the Dead back in BO2. I feel like it was a lot more open in BO2. Here in BO4, BO4, it seems to be a little bit tighter than it used to be, but overall, it's still a good spot. It can be done solo. It's not my go-to strat for Blood solo, but this is definitely more of a co-op strat, but again, it can be done solo if you want to. So if you do the strategy solo, the Magma Gat is like a must-have, because there are a lot of times where you will get blocked off and just completely cornered, so the Magma Gat would be super clutch. If you're playing co-op, honestly, just rock whatever you want. You have the ICR right there, you have the trap there as well, so it's a pretty decent spot, but yeah, definitely more of a co-op strat than a solo strat. In the number 5 spot, I have my go-to training spot on IX when I'm playing co-op, and this is the Zeus Temple strategy. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just train where the Zeus perk is. It is definitely the most open temple, so there's tons of room, and in co-op, this spot actually gets a ton of spawns. Actually, the most spawns, more spawns in the actual middle or the spawn room, so if you want a ton of kills in co-op, do this strat right here. The only thing that kind of sucks about this strategy is, since it's right beside a perk, you always have people running through this area, which can be kind of annoying. When you're playing with randoms, sometimes they'll hang out in that area with you, but for the most part, if you're playing with friends or a group, you know, and you kind of claim this area, it is definitely the best spot on this map that isn't the spawn. In the number 4 spot, we have probably the most popular Blood of the Dead training spot, which is the roof, and going into BO4. Never thought I would say that because the roof was always a really bad spot to train, but man, here in BO4 Zombies, it is a phenomenal spot, and it's hands down, you know, my go-to solo spot, and probably the spot that you're fighting over with other players as well. I know there's that one spot by the spawn. It's a really popular high round strategy with the chain trap, and there's that dog in there as well. You know, that spot is more of like a camping slash trading spot. This is the best pure training spot on Blood of the Dead. And the one thing though about the roof is there are a couple of like choke points. There are a couple of spots where you can get cut off pretty easily. So obviously having something like the katana is super clutch, but overall best training spots on Blood of the Dead. In the number 3 spot, we have the classified middle floor strategy, and this spot was amazing in BO1 Zombies, and it is just as good here in BO4 Zombies. One thing that makes this strategy appear a little bit harder here in BO4 is you have to deal with the Nova 6 crawlers on round 25. They start spawning in with zombies. In BO1, they wouldn't spawn in unless you went to the lab, so it's definitely different here in BO4, which does make this strategy and any strat a little bit harder, but overall, this spot is just the go-to trading spot on Classified when playing solo. When playing co-op, it's still great. A little bit tricky because you always have someone coming through the middle floor, but that's something you just have to deal with. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Voyage of Despair Poop Deck strategy, and this is obviously the go-to strat for Voyage. It's just the most, I guess, kind of open or easiest spot to train, even though there is a ton of debris on this deck. But if you're going to train in Voyage, this is definitely that go-to spot. Also, this spot has the KN wall buy, which is super convenient. On top of that, it is right by one of the pab locations, and then on top of that, you have a buildable bench where you put the shield, so everything you need is right there, which makes this one of the best spots to train zombies in BO4 Zombies. Coming in at the number 1 spot on today's list, I'm sure it's kind of obvious, it's the IX starting room strategy, and I'm not gonna lie, not too long ago, I wasn't really all that crazy with the spot just because of the fire. The fire is so annoying and it downed me all the time, but ever since that trick was found where you don't take fire damage, this became one of the best trading spots in all of Treyarch Zombies. Not gonna lie, doing that one thing to take no fire damage when you have to get the 4 different types of zombie kills with the acid trap and the Blade Trap is kind of annoying and kind of tedious. I don't do it every single game, but when you do get it done, it's really nice. Not having to worry about taking fire damage is just the best thing ever, and it makes surviving so much easier when doing this strategy. So there you have it, guys. Those were 10 of the best training spots here in BO4Zombies. Next up, I'll probably do the best camping spots, so keep an eye out for that video. Besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.